I wanted to give you a few of the poems from my last shows in Chicago and end with a few from my future show this Saturday.
Oh,
so it'll end
yes.
on love, but it'll start.
Expressions, you'll be there.
And so you'll get to hear things a couple times,
Well,
but I get to practice.
Yes.
But I'll have music in the background.
Oh, better.
Anyway, the first two pieces are from my last show in Hyde Park, Sisters on a Journey.
Hyde Park in
Hyde Park in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Which is where Barack Obama lived. That Hyde Park.
Okay.
Though I never saw his place.
Hard.
I know there's one in New York, there's one in Chicago. Anyway, these were both about my mother, who passed away. It'll sound better at first, so hear me out. It's called Old School and High-Tech Monuments. People stop and tell me that they are sad about my mom. One woman hugged me and said, "They always take the good ones." Because you'd think she'd have gone through enough in her life for crimes she didn't commit. So yeah, they do take the good ones. It's unfair. It's completely wrong. Someone has to be held accountable. She was one of the good ones, and I hate you for taking her this way. I don't care who you are, you who leaves me here to write until my fountain pen runs dry. It becomes a mantra. Record these stories. Record her praises. I will sit at my computer, slam my hands, my fingers into that keyboard because there has to be a record. I'll write stories. I'll write volumes. Book after book with traces of her will infiltrate libraries and online bookstores. I'll stand at every mountain peak. I'll sing her praises. I'll give people copies of these words because, as I said, there has to be a record. And then when the pens are gone, I'll prick my skin. I'll spill my blood into words onto pages. This is what these words mean when my computer is obsolete, when the internet is dead. I ram mallet to stone. I'll chisel these words, create monuments to you. You want to see a record? Just know that civilizations eons from now will see these testaments from salvaged libraries and carved from stone and live for these words. Trust me. We live in a world where everything speeds by at 6-second increments. The world says your youth is attention deficit disorder because we cram a billion things down their throats instantaneously. With every groundbreaking gadget, we get all that info so much faster. So, wait a minute. Why worry so much about the word when sometimes the message brings the meaning? Then fine. Time to get high tech. I could pull out my camera right now. I'll start a haiku and make it a 6-second thing and fine. Her existence makes trees take root, flowers bloom, so nature's beautiful. That sounds. Things are beautiful when you speak the truth. And hey, that could be a Twitter-length poem post too, I'm sure. So. But I'll put these writings in web pages. I'll make them free downloadable PDF files. I'll post them on Facebook. I'll go old school and print them out in a magazine and collection books too. I'll use every resource at my disposal to blanket this planet with these words. Because, as I said, there has to be a record. When a life that beautiful comes and goes, the world needs to stand up at attention and pay their respects.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's true.
Now they'll start to sound like this one. I won't talk about the themes. This one's called Extinct on Planet Earth, and it's fitting because it's in books, and I'm in a bookstore. Saw a slew of books for sale recently, of species now extinct on planet Earth. Some books were massive volumes, like large catalogs categorizing the dead. And I heard a statistic a while ago saying a species goes extinct every 90 seconds. I mean, these books can't be up to date when so much in our world is dying so quickly. 99% of all species that have lived on Earth are gone now. 99%? When I think of all the death that precedes us, when I think of all the death that we see around us, I wonder, when a loved one dies, do they become a name that will be forgotten? Maybe listed in the catalog, like all these long gone extinct species. I think of a man who told me he loved me. I think of my mother. And I wonder, is that what is left of that life? Is that it'll all be reduced to just a line of type in small print, cataloged by genome? Maybe there's a word or two beyond a name, but it's just a few words. And is that all that is left?
Huh. Yeah, there's got to be more.
Well, you know, Earth wants us to forget anyway. It buries everything.
We buried everything.
No, the Earth buries everything.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, dinosaurs, after one crash and there was the iridium layer and the thing that destroyed
We
everything.
we tried to dig it all up.
Oil.
Oh, yippee,
We
skippy
tried
oil.
to dig it all up.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, of course I do.
Graves, bones, gold. Yep.
This is one poem that I did in my last feature at Poetry's Love Letter on the North Side in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
It is,
Poetry's lovely.
well, that's what the open mic was called.
Nice.
This is called Other Souls.
Called what?
Other
Other
Souls.
Souls.
Other Souls. Other Souls litter history books.
Yeah.
I wish I was Joan of Arc, carrying her banner in battle, giving divinely inspired advice to the men under her command. And I wish I was burned at the stake for my beliefs as the flames rose to her Roman nose. I wonder if she ever knew of her ultimate power. I wish I was on the Titanic. That sounds so like me. That sounds so like me, being the rich elite that wants to be on the first cruise across the ocean. But I wish I'd gone down with them. I don't care what passenger I am. The point is that people will study the disaster that I was in for centuries. Books will be written.
Yep.
Movies will be box office hits.
They will.
All from me being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I wish I were my ancestors, Marie, Augie, Petronella, Johanna. I wish I was in the resistance like them to save Jews from the SS in World War II. I never lived through their struggles, but I'd gladly take their place to fight for something, even if it means being killed by the Nazis. For what? For trying to save lives. I wish I was on flight 175. Just another one of my trips across the country. I'm getting used to the airplanes now. It's actually becoming quite boring. It's actually a nice morning out. Come 2001, come all the damage I have seen so far in my life, maybe this would be a way to go. I haven't seen the World Trade Center since 1995. Wow, what a view this flight is giving me. Maybe I'd hear from a neighboring passenger's phone call about the hijackers. No matter. I'd see the inferno of the North Tower before I'd taken part in a big inferno myself. Some time to panic, and then, just like that, it's over. Years later, my name would be cut through metal, memorialized around the fountains for one of the tallest buildings. Yeah, it would be quick, but people would come to this New York intersection by appointment only and run their hands along the letters of my name.
Yeah.
All this pain, they won't forget. Other souls litter history books. Some of them may have been great. Some, as I said, may have been at the wrong place, at the wrong time. And after I've been attacked, and after I've been almost killed. What? I've pieced myself back together. I've screamed my stories from rooftops. I've etched my words into stone. And no one hears me. And if they do, no one will remember.
Yeah, well, just all those heroes and heroines.
Yeah.
All those heroes and heroines. Never hear those praises.
Nope. because it's after they're gone.
Gone.
I said that if they do
Never
go
hear
over
those
my
phrases.
it's
Being
absolutely
nice
true.
while they're alive. Yeah, must say.
Absolutely true.
So don't whisper too much like that.
Well, I thought it was a good piece to read when you hear about these people and you think that, that's where the point was going. So
You've got it.
yeah, I totally understand. And yes, I do write happy stuff too. It is possible.
Okay. Yes.
But if anybody has been to my house, I don't know if they remember seeing what looked like a paperback book made into a shirt or a jacket that was hanging up in my library.
I think
I had, this last poem is from my last show at what used to be my open mic, the last show in Chicago. This is one of the pieces for it.
Where in Chicago was that? your
This
show?
place was at Gallery Cabaret, which is at the corner of Armitage and like Western and
Western and what?
Armitage.
Okay.
2000 North, 24.
Yeah.
That's where the thing was. So yeah. And I had to give up my open mic to somebody else, and so I could continue there. But this was my last show there right before leaving, and this is one of the poems. And I wore what we sang as a paperback jacket when I read this poem, and it's called "Open Book." I've put on my jacket. I've said about my work. It's the same thing, day after day. I do my work, and everything feels heavier. I don't know what is wrong with me. I'm not sick, but I know I'm not well. And I know there's got to be something I can do about this. It's become so desperate that I inject medication into me to try to make the pain go away. And I continue to work, and the weight grows stronger. Now, I know my soul. I keep things hidden, but I'm otherwise an open book. I've worn my heart on my sleeve, and even kept a tissue for when the weight was too strong. But my book fills libraries. It's a never-ending epic. And I look through these pages, and I look deep inside of me. I scan the pages. I scour the text. And it's far, and for the life of me, I can't find what ails me. And as I said, I'm an open book. So someone should be able to break the code of me and figure out me once and for all. And all I get are blank stares.
yeah, blank.
Well, no one else seems to have the answers. So I continue my work until I realize that my jacket, that my book jacket, that this open book becomes the burden. And not because of what I write, but because the answers may be buried so deep in the reams of written word that no one will be able to unlock with a key and figure out what is truly me.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I can do a 3 or 4. I can do pretty much the whole show if you would like.
Yeah, you sure.
He says,
You okay, man?
are you okay with that? You good with that?
I don't know.
It's
If I get real tired, I'll go.
okay, well,
But
well, that means I'm going to have to do the 4 because I'm going to start with, because the theme for the feature was highest love or
so
greatest
far,
love.
I'm not tired.
Well, it was all, and I said I'll pick it up for that, and because you talked about love poems, I'm going to start with this first one, and it is called Mapping the Way to True Love. I've always taken charge and led the way, but even on my own, I accomplished more than everyone else. I was invincible. I was doing so well, I quit my job as an art director in the second largest city in the States, kept paying for my Chicago apartment, and traveled around the country by car. Until I was stopped at a light, and one car slammed into me. And then another. Then I fought for my life. And this may sound very sad, and I'm telling you, it was. But this is a part of my invincible life, because doctors from other floors in the hospital read my record and called me Miracle Girl because of my miraculous recovery. But this was the first time in my invincible life that I had ever felt alone, because the one thing missing from my invincible life was true love. You know the kind, because in this hectic world we lead, it's next to impossible to find their philosophical equal. So now, because I'm a journalist, forced to take the train because my car was totaled, I'd ask passengers questions. Tell me something about yourself. Because my life was almost taken away. I wanted to learn everything about life I could.
Yeah.
At least I could live vicariously in life. Tell me something about yourself.
I'm not a square.
And one man answered in the cold of January while I kept myself covered in a coat, hat, scarf, gloves. And he asked me what book I was currently reading. I said a philosopher's name. He said he knew their writing and that he had read their novels. Then he started mentioning their nonfiction books. Then he even said that he read a lexicon of their philosophy. And I stopped him. You're telling me you read a dictionary? He said, yes, and the information comes quite in handy in his life. And on our first date, we talked about philosophy more than half the night when not asking each other vague, tell me about yourself questions. And though we had only known each other for 2 weeks, when Valentine's Day came, he decided to give me an expansive map of the United States because I had just traveled it. He carried this large tube to his work on Valentine's Day. A coworker saw it, inquired. When he said he was giving his girl a map for Valentine's Day, the coworker laughed. She'll hate that. Women want chocolate and flowers, he said. But when I got that map, I asked if it was okay if I kept it curled up until we had a home for it. When I look up in my office, I see that map on my wall. And when I walk out of my office, I see a wall displaying his guitars. He likes that I wanted to display his music, and he likes that I'm a creative person with an engineering side because he's an engineering person with a creative side. But that shouldn't surprise him. And it shouldn't surprise him that we were engaged 4 times longer than we dated. Yes, our dating was accelerated because not many people talk philosophy on their first date. And not many people realize, even before they start dating, that they can't be without the other. Because now that we found each other, we want to lock hands and scour those maps because we want to see every part of the world together. Because when you get to this point, celebrating alone isn't celebrating, and living alone isn't living when you could be with your one true love.
That's wonderful. Wow.
I said that it'll get better.
It is game.
And I thought for this thing there are many things that could be. It doesn't have to be a person. So I went to a more nature field, and this one is called Years, Centuries, Eons. Scouring this land, searching for meaning, I've traversed the roads to see innate beauty of how this earth came together. Discovering this rocky terrain, caressing smooth lava beds, studying the variations of color in the rainforest's bamboo stalks has touched my soul deeply. Years, centuries, eons have shifted the plates beneath us. When I left the plains of Chicago, I traversed the Appalachians and then skydove with the Grand Tetons. But waiting to visit some places till it wasn't tourist season was the smartest way to go, because that way you had no one nearby when I walked along the ridges of the Grand Canyon, screamed into the caverns to no one, before I climbed into the orange depths of Bryce Canyon, a rocky range that's eternally a vibrant sunset. Walked miles off beaten paths at Arches National Park until I could see for miles there was no one. And all that time, there was only one bird. No people, no planes, just peace. It took years, centuries, eons for nature to create these majestic, intoxicating, breathtaking places that seem like works of art. But this is just how the world works, how it became the wondrous thing we see today. You might think, no, it can't be that good, not touched by the hand of man. But you've got it all wrong. It is possible to utterly, deeply, completely fall in love with the world, wholly, with every fiber of your being. You can adore, idolize this creation if you let nature take its course.
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
true.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
So I had to figure out all the things that you can so appreciate, and I had to do this one. This is a Zenith of the night sky.
Okay.
We were sitting outside looking at the night sky. There were no towns around us for at least 40 miles, and there was not a single cloud in the sky. It was absolutely amazing. You could see the Milky Way very clearly. You could easily see so many constellations. I've never seen that many stars in my life. After staring at the zenith of the night sky for a while, someone finally spoke. Looking up at these stars, doesn't it make you feel so insignificant?
No.
My eyes must have been saucers looking up at this night sky with a grin I couldn't remove from my face. Not at all. I could never think that. How could you not? He asked. And I told him that I can't look at my life as insignificant. If I did, I wouldn't want to excel in life, and I'd have no reason to continue. Because the line, doesn't it make you feel so insignificant, makes it sound like it should be followed by, doesn't it make you feel so worthless? And I cannot function that way. The night sky is so inherently beautiful. The night sky is so aesthetically pleasing. I look at these stars and I fall in love. I look at these stars and think that this is science. We can learn from this. I love to see the constancy of the stars in the night sky. And these stars were the same stars that I saw when I was a child, in my lifelong love of astronomy. I love the understanding we gain about our world by studying other planets and stars and galaxies.
Francis, your advisory. Francis, your advisory.
And I love the fact that I am on one of those planets, and that I have this ability, this unique opportunity to be a part of this scientific love affair.
Yes.
But then it occurred to me, traveling around the Earth to see the sights is one thing, but what about up there? And now I know I can't afford a flight to outer space, but why not take a trek toward the Arctic Circle and see the Aurora Borealis? So we made our plans, stayed in a bed and breakfast at Fairbanks, Alaska, with windowsills 18 inches deep because we need that added insulation. We even sang a few sets at Ivory Jack's because the best time of the night to see the Aurora Borealis was about 1:30 in the morning, long after our concert ended. Yes, it was bitter cold, and I was bundled up, but I really didn't care. I'd take pictures anyway, even though no photo could emulate the dancing solar wind in our magnetosphere colliding into our atmosphere. But with that collision, what a light show it makes. One man who lived for years in Alaska shared with me that he told his family that he would leave here when he lost his love for the Aurora Borealis. I know exactly what he means.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. You know, sometimes in Illinois you could see
It was stunning. Sometimes
Yeah.
we'd be able to see it, and I know there's the Australis, which I've never been.
Yeah.
But
I saw it
won't
when
talk
I
about
was
my
about
future travel.
7 or 8 years old.
you know,
Yeah.
and then
But
when,
it couldn't possibly have
It was the
been
tiniest little bit when I saw it.
extraordinary as it was when
Yes.
you saw it in Alaska.
and always moving, and we made a point to go at the time that would be most frequent in the year. It was awesome. That was awesome. I'm gonna end with this last one from the show, and this is called Just One Book.
Uh-huh.
I wore my older sister's communion veil, playing dress-up in my imaginary wedding. I read my older sister's prayer book, wondering who can hand me the answers. But mangled in a maelstrom of religions, I was left lost, searching for salvation. After years ticked by, it was only then when my Judeo-Christian boyfriend gave me a book. It didn't quite fit in with his beliefs, but he told me to give it a read. Now, I remember reading books where I had to tell myself to read 50 pages a day just so that I could get through it. And after reading any passage, I honestly couldn't even tell you what I just read. But this book was like no other. It spoke to me philosophically, and it managed to show me how to live. You didn't think you can get so much from just one book, and it's true. Afterward, I swooped up as much reading on the subject as I could, but it still stuns me that just one book could put me on a track to how to think through life, because suddenly all my reasoning made sense. With this one book, I learned how to fit the pieces together, and suddenly my life made sense. I didn't think that just one book could do that to a person, but I am a living testament to the message, and like I'm placing my hand on a Bible, I'll swear this day that just the right book, in just the right hands, of just the right minds, can really give the world clarity and transform everything perfectly.
What's the book?
I never tell the book because everybody can say whatever. I mean, I know what book it is for me, but everybody can think of a different book for what works for them. I do not tell the book. I do not tell the book.
It was the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam.
It was the Urantia book.
Anyway, so that was all.
That was wonderful.
Thank you,
That's
thank
going to be a really good song.
That's great.
I try to figure out, like, for the last
That's
four,
really, really good.
love
What you
and
love,
different
person, place,
nature,
sky, nature,
astronomy,
books.
and a book for a
Absolutely wonderful.
philosophy
Yes,
kind of thing.
love
Yeah.
it all. Love it.